Hi everyone, I am Sri. Welcome to our channel Tech Dunia. Today we are going to dive into Git and GitHub, which is essential tool for the DevOps engineers and developers in their day-to-day job. I will show you practical examples along with real-world use cases. So stay tuned till end of the video. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe our channel. Let's get into the video. So first we will see introduction to the Git and what are the features are there, and then how to use this. So common troubleshoot techniques which we use to see in our day-to-day tasks, and then we'll see the best practices for the development workstations, and then finally we will conclude the Git. So if you see the definition of the Git, so Git is a distribution version control for tracking changes the files. So what does that mean? See on the screen. So Git is majorly we will call it as a version control. So what is version control? I can say it is a kind of the CC camera. The reason why I am comparing it with a CC camera, once we have the CC camera at our home, it is getting recorded each and every second, each and every moment what is happening in our home. In the same way, this version control will get record of each and everything, like what are the changes are happening, who is doing, when the change happened, and what time it is happened. Even if it is a small full stop, a very minor change also, it will get recorded. So because of that reason, I will always compare, or I will always say the version control is a kind of the CCTV. As you see on the screen, the version control, it's a keep history of the modification and restore the previous versions if needed, collaborate with multiple people, like we are all working as a team member. Whatever I am making the changes, you can notify or you can see that, and at the same time whatever the changes you are doing, I can also see the changes. So why is version control important? The first one is showing as backup and recovery. So what is the benefit of this? If you mess up, like something you made some change, but later on you want to recover it, so the recovery will help on that. If you want to get the recovery, you should take the backup first, because if there is no backup, there is no concept of the recovery at all. Collaboration means multiple developers can work on the same project, because nowadays the project development or project delivery is happening very fast. And tracking changes, the name indicates it will track everything, who made the changes, what changes happened, and when the changes happened, and branching and merging. So this will discuss in detail soon. So before going to further, by this time we are clear on the version control and how many types of the version controls are there. As we see, there are three types of the version controls. One is local version control system, and then centralized version control system, and the third one is the distributed version control, and our Git comes under the distribution. Why it is calling as a distribution means multiple people can work on the same project simultaneously. The person who invented this is Linus Torvalds. This is the same guy who invented the Linux. So distributed file system, essential features. If you see the features like distributed file system, branching and merging, data integrity, staging area, speed, we will see in depth about all these features. There are mainly three states of a Git. One is working directory, then staging area, and then Git directory or repository. So working directory is the place which we will work in our laptops. So that path or that location we will call it as a working directory. So Git directory is nothing but which is stored in the hub, means which is somewhere in the cloud, Staging area, so this is the area which is in between from your working directory to the cloud. Now we will see the major commands what we use to have in our day-to-day task. The first command in Git is git init, means git initialize, so that it will initiate the repository. So what is the repository? It is just a place where you have the multiple files and directories for your application or for your project. The other basic commands in is init and then clone, and then if you want to add a specific file, you can add the git add file, and commit means we are informing to the Git this is the final message and this is the change I have done, and then you can start monitoring that. Okay, once the commit is done, you have to push it, means you have to send it to the somewhere, so that the other side of the people also can see these changes. If you want to get any updates from cloud to your local, then we have to go with the git pull. So these are the major commands which we use to run in our daily works. Like in git init will do the initialize everything, like git mod till the commit. So before the commit we could see git modify and then stage. So once it is done, the commit will have. Commit means we are saying that yes, this is the change, I am okay, and go ahead with this change. Once the commit is done, we have to do the git push. So you are sending your code to the other people also, so that the people who are monitoring or the people who are using the same project, they can see the changes. What they have to do? They have to do the git pull, because for example, if you want to take it, first I have to send it. In that context, the person who made the changes, this guy will do the git push, and the person who wants to take that guy will take it as a git pull. Let's get into the lab. So right now I don't have any project in my local. So how will you install the Git? This is just straightforward method. You just Google and search for the Git. You can see the first page. You just double click and then download. If you are using the Windows machine, you just use this option. If you are using the Mac, you can download the respective package. Hope by this time you are all aware of the how to installation of the software in your laptops or PCs. So I am not going to talk much on that. If still anyone have any confusions on that, please feel free to comment so that I can share the steps. Once you install the Git and everything, then you open the VS Code. From the VS Code, you create one folder in your local and open the folder here. Go to the GitHub. So sign up. As I already have the account, I am just logging in. So it will just look for the OTP, go to the mobile setting, then approve the number. Once you logged in, you can see your name right side and you can see all your profile, your repositories. If you have any repositories, you can see here. And now I am going with the organization. Like I just want to create the entire project in a different, so that I will not disturb any of the other organizations data. Let's go to the our organization, which is Tech Dunia. Here if you see on top, there is no repositories at all so far. So click on the repository, there is nothing. The left side one is the laptop and this one is the GitHub. So what does that mean? Whenever you want to create a repository, you can create the directory and structure everything here, and then you can create the repository here also. You can create the repository here itself, or else you can create the repository in the GitHub directly. So now I am just going to show you one repository creation in the GitHub. How can we do? So go to the GitHub portal. Now at this moment there is no repository, so I want to create a repository. Now click on the new repository. It is asking the name of the repository. I will click it as a, or I can name it as a demo one. It is just checking whether it is available or not. Yes, it is available. And at the bottom you can see two entries are there. One is public and private. Public means if I create any repository with the public, so that everyone can log into this repository. In real time, all our repositories should be with the private, so that outside of the organization people or outside of the organization this particular repository cannot be accessed. As a demo session, I am just taking the public. And if you see here, add readme file. If you choose this checkbox, one file will get generated. Create a repository. If I don't choose this checkbox, the repository will get created without a single file. That is the only major difference. So now I am not going to create any readme file. That is the reason I just unchecked this. And at the bottom you can see .gitignore. It is saying about .gitignore. .gitignore. Ignore. The purpose of the .gitignore is, in real time we may no need to upload the unnecessary files or any cache files or any other files which is not at all required for the project. So that time it's better to add those files in this .ignore directory, so that it will save the space and it won't take much time to get upload of the code from our local to the remote repository, which is GitHub. Now click on the create repository. Once we click on the create repository, you can see it is showing us some commands or some steps. It is saying us quick setup. If you don't, or if you have done this kind thing before, or else if you want to create a repository from the command line or push an existing repository from the command line. We just created the repository from the GitHub portal. Like we created the repository here. Now the next step is you want to take that repository. You just create one sample repository here, and now you want to take that repository to your laptop. Okay, in the laptop, how will you take it? For that we are using VS Code. So VS Code is the tool which will help us to send the code or get the code. I just opened the VS Code. Now in the terminal also you should be in the same place. Now I am in the laptop. I want to get the code from our repository, from our remote repository to our local. How to get? So go to your repository which you just created, and you can see two options. One is HTTPS and the another one is SSH. So what is the difference between? If you use the SSH, the connectivity is in secure mode and you no need to mention the ID password for your GitHub account every time. Whenever you do the push, if you go with the SSH option, you no need to give or you no need to enter the password all the times. Whereas if you use the HTTPS, every time it will ask for the password. So mostly I will prefer with the SSH. Let me take this, copy, and then go to your VS. Now what is the command? First command is git clone, because we are just cloning, means we are just taking the repository which is already there in the cloud. That is the reason we are just cloning. We are not doing any initiality here. As I have the multiple GitHub accounts, I have done some tweak. If anyone wants to know or if anyone have interest how I made this, please feel free to comment. I am ready to share. With this I can connect my laptop with multiple GitHub accounts. I am cloning the code. So I will use the command git clone, and you see it's a quite difference in general the people how to use. The reason is I am using my laptop to connect multiple GitHub accounts. As I am managing almost 5 GitHub accounts, I need to connect different GitHub accounts from the same laptop. I have made some tweak on that. If anyone have any interest to know how I made that, please comment. I will share the steps which I performed to achieve this. Now you can see the clone has been done. It is saying clearly you appear to have a cleaned and empty repository. Means there is nothing in the repository. That is the reason in the left side if you see under the demo one there is nothing. There is nothing. There is no file, no directory at all. That is the reason it is saying it is a empty repository. So far we just created one repository and then I cloned the repository to my local. For that I ran mainly two commands. One is create the repository from the GitHub dashboard, and then I did the git clone. Okay, I created the file 1. Now let me create one test file under the directory. As we discussed earlier, Git is kind of the CC camera. So when it starts to monitor, once it starts to monitor, then only it will send the data from your laptop or from your local to the remote repository. How can we do that? We should be in the repository. So what is the repository? We have created demo1 as a repository. We just cloned it and then I am in the repository. Now I want to create some files inside the repository. So you just select the repository, click on the right button, click on the new file, testfile.txt. One file is created. Now see Git status. First thing, what it is saying. See this. It is saying clearly untracked files. Means it is informing. Means Git is informing us, hey boss, there is one file which is not yet started to monitor, whether you want to monitor by Git or not. If we really want to get it monitored by Git, we have to make or you have to run one more command. What is that? That is git add. With this command, Git starts to monitor this file. Once you add the git add command, since then Git starts monitor and it will check what is changing, when is changing, by who is changing. Everything will be get tracked by the Git. Now let's see git add dot. Why I used dot is, in this path from where I am running this command, I want to get monitor everything from the path where I ran this. Instead of that, if you want to add any specific file, you can give the command as git add space that particular file name. Now run the git status. Now see this, we don't see that untracked message. The reason is, since we ran the git add command, the Git started to monitor this file. Changes to be committed. It started monitoring, then it is saying commit it. Commit means what? You just say something about this file or whatever the change I made. Now git commit -m initial file. This is for the convenience only, so that the people or the other person who is from the same project can see also, easy to understand. Git commit. Now let us see git status. See this. Now even we don't see this committed message because we already did the commit. Now see this, git status is saying clearly there is nothing to commit, means whatever the change you made, it has been already recorded. Okay, how do I know? If you run the git log, will help you that information. See this, it is saying clearly this is the commit ID, who made this commit, so and so person, when this guy made, and what is the message of the commit. What is the message of the commit? Okay, I made the commit and I done the change everything. If I keep this content with me, there is no use. So what I have to do? I have to send it to the remote repository so that the people or the team members who are working on the same project, they can see the changes. Now how can I send it? The command is git push. See this, I did the git push. I saw that some content has been pushed. Now go back to our Git repository and refresh the page. You can see the same content here also, right? This is the repository. You go to the repository and then refresh. See this, one file has been updated here. From here also you can make that. How can I do? Say this, add file, create a new file. I want to give the name. See this, name file. So testfile2.txt and the content is, this is second file. And in the same home page also, I mean in the dashboard also, it is asking for the commit changes. You click on the commit and you can commit message, created second file, commit directly to the main branch. We will see the branching strategy in soon. At this moment I am just committing the message directly on the branch. Commit message, saving. Now with this I can say you created the test2 file here, right? But this file is not at all in your local. Means this repository has the ahead of the local, but you want to get the changes to your local. How do we do? Here you do the git pull. Before running the git pull, see how many files are here. There is only one file only. Now let me do the git pull. Once you do the git pull, you can see that another file also will get update here. See this? We can see the test2 file here. With this exercise, I just showed you how to create a repository in the GitHub dashboard and then how to clone. Once you clone the repository to your local, create a sample file, and then how to start monitoring of the file by the Git, and then how to make the commit. Once you commit it, how to push the file to remote repository, and then vice versa. Like this you can make n number of the changes. Now we will see git reset and git revert, which is very crucial in the day-to-day task. It is the head. Now your intention is you want to queue the up to tf3 file only. You don't want before the data. How many files are there so far? Now let me do the first git revert. Git revert commit id. So tf4. Take the commit id and then press it. Git revert. What it is saying? It is opened one new VA editor and it is asking some commits, like you just add reverted, you just save the commit message. Git revert. Now git status ls-lrt git see, once I do the git revert, what happened? I just given you some commit id. Whatever the changes are there in that particular commit, those are all got removed. So because of that reason, I am not able to see the tf4 file. See this? Why I am not able to see the tf4 file? I said that git revert means I don't, whatever the changes are there in this commit, I don't want those changes. So that is the reason git revert got removed, that particular changes. Now go with the git reset. The reset means what it will do, it will go to the whatever the commit id you want to back, that nth level or n-1 it will do. So git revert, it will just remove the data or remove the content which you reverted the commit. So that is the reason if we see the history also, it will not remove the commits. The commits will be remains stored, but whatever the commit id you reverted, whatever the data is there with that commit, that particular data will get removed. So now if you see git reverted 7bca, so 7bca, still the commit is there, but one new commit got added, but whatever the commit or whatever the data is there with that commit, tf6 added. So now you can see there is no tf6. Means revert means it will just remove the data which is happened with that commit id, but it will not delete the history of the commits. That is the purpose of the git revert. Now we see with the git reset. Reset means there are two ways. One is soft reset, the another one is the hard reset. So for the better understanding, let me create few more files to test the git reset. Just for the reference, I am creating the tf8 9 10. Touch tf8, git add, git commit -m, tf8 added. Now touch tf9, git add, git commit -m, tf9 added. So let me add another file also. Touch tf10, touch tf10, then git add, git commit -m, tf10 added. Let us see any pending is there with the help of the git status. Right, all are committed. Now let me see the commit IDs. Git log -one line. See, now the head is the latest commit, which is tf10 added. Now I want to go 2 steps back, which is n-1. Let me take this git reset. You observe it carefully. If I do the git reset, what is happening? Now go back to the git log -1 line. Now see the head. What happened? The head has been changed. Before running the reset, the head was with a different commit ID, but when I do the git reset with the commit ID, specific ID, so the head has been changed. Since now everything will point to this, the commit only it will point to here. But what about the data? Let us see the data, whether the tf8 9 file has been removed or not. See this, 8 file is there, 9 file is there, 10th file is there. So means the data has not been removed. Now let us check the git status. It is saying that untracked files. The reason is, if you see the git reset, what is the commit ID we have used? tf8 added, right? That is the reason I used the ba3. Means these two changes happened after that particular commit ID. Now git add, git commit -m, tested the reset, git status, sorry, git status. Now git log -1 line. Now let us see. So one more new commit has been added. Now let us see the data, whether the data has been removed or not. See this, till tf8 tf9 files are there, tf9 tf10 files are still there, but the commit ID has been changed. So in the real time scenario, some cases when you go for the reset means you don't want to get the multiple commits on that, but you don't want to lose the data as well. Whenever you don't want to lose the data, but you don't want that commit ID, those two commits, like for example tf10 we have done one commit, tf9 also we have done one commit, you don't want to go, you don't want to get update of those commits. So that is the reason you can remove those commits with the help of the git reset. Then when you can delete the data as well. If you use the git reset -hard, go back to the, take the previous one. Sorry, the spelling is wrong. Git reset. So my intention here is, before this, before this commit ID, whatever happened or whatever the data has been there, you don't want to get the data. You want to, or you are okay with the data removal also. Git reset --hard. Now git log --one line. Now see the head. Whatever the reset you did with the commit ID, now that will become as a head. Now let us see the data, whether the data has been removed or not. Now see this, 8, 9, 10 files has been removed. Even you can't find the data also. So that is the difference of the reset with soft and hard. With the soft reset, the data will not be removed, but the commit IDs, whatever the previous to that, will be removed. Whereas with the hard reset, it will get to remove the data as well. A few more topics will be discussed in the next session. Thank you.